Yes, Moses was a king. This is a tale from the Book of Jasher. In the day when Egypt's grasp weighed heavily upon the children of Jacob, Moses, son of Amram, found himself forced from the palace and into the wilderness. He fled for his life, leaving the court of Pharaoh and crossing into lands unknown to the people of Israel. Into the region of Kush he journeyed, a realm far from the Nile's heavy chains, rich in fresh rivers and high hills, known for its valiant warriors and ancient traditions. Here in Kush, the war drums thundered. The king of Kush, Kikianus, had marched out to battle the children of Aram, leaving his city in the hands of his friend, Balaam. But Balaam had his own plans. Fueled by ambition, he took the kingdom for himself and shut Kikianus and his army out of the city. When the king and his host returned, they realized what Balaam had done and tried to take back the city, but all in vain. Balaam had dug ditches outside the city, filled some with water from the river, and placed enchanted serpents in others. He wasn't just a regular man. He was a sorcerer. Now, Moses arrived at the camp of Kush in the midst of chaos. The Kushites, weary and desperate, had spent years trying to reclaim their own city from their enemies. Though a stranger among them, Moses' bravery and wisdom soon won the hearts of King Kikianus and his men. For 9 long years, the siege dragged on, a grinding struggle of hope and despair. In that time, Moses became the king's most trusted advisor, the one voice that could still inspire men hardened by war. Then, tragedy struck. Kikianus fell gravely ill and died, leaving his warriors in turmoil. Fear spread like fire. The enemy would surely strike once they learned the king was gone. In their desperation, the Kushites turned to the one man who had never failed them. Who better to lead us than Moses? Wise, brave, and favored by the gods. And so they swore allegiance to him, pledging their lives to his command. When they sought his counsel on how to breach the city that had defied them for nearly a decade, Moses' words stunned them. If you stick to Kikianus' old strategy, you will perish, he said. But if you trust in my plan, you will live, and the city will be yours. Then he gave an order none could understand. Each man was to venture into the forest, find a young stork, bring it back to the camp, and raise it. Though bewildered, the soldiers obeyed. A while later, when the storks had grown strong, Moses led his army to the city's most dreaded approach, the gate guarded by venomous serpents. At his command, the men released their birds. With a furious beating of wings, the storks descended, devouring every serpent in their path until the way stood clear. The Kushites roared in triumph and surged forward, storming the city that same day. Not one of them fell, for they had heeded Moses' counsel. And when the city was finally theirs, the people of Kush crowned Moses as their king before all the tribes. To seal his rule, they gave him the wife of the fallen King Kikianus, and thus began a new chapter in the land of Kush. For though he was not of their blood, his soul had become one with theirs by service, by battle, and by victory. He was crowned king at the age of 27, and reigned for 40 years. During his rule, Moses did not forget his origin among God's people. In Kush he acted as a wise and righteous ruler. He governed the children of Kush in justice and integrity. The hearts of his subjects were with him, and the nations around them heard and took heed. At his throne, in the marble-bright palace high above the river, nobles and princes sat about him. Many seasons passed, and the land prospered under his hand. The people found order, the weak found protection, and the march of warbands from across the desert diminished in fear of the king of Kush. After 40 years of reign, the queen of Kush, the wife of the former king, rose to speak before Moses and the princes. "What is this thing which you, the children of Kush, have done for this long time?" She asked. "Surely you know that for 40 years this man hath reigned over Kush, and he has not approached me, nor has he served our gods." She pressed the matter further, and argued that though mighty and beloved, Moses was not of the flesh of Kush, nor of the line of their old family. "Let my son reign over you," she said. "For is it not better to serve the son of your lord than a stranger, and a slave of the king of Egypt?" The word spread among the nobles and the people. In the evening they whispered, and at dawn they acted. They made Menacruz, son of Kikianus, king over them. And thus Moses was asked to abdicate the throne. But the people, remembering their oath to him, were afraid to raise a hand against him. And so Moses, in peace, was sent forth from the land of Kush with many gifts and honor. At the time of his departure he was 66 years old. Having completed 40 years of rulership over Kush, Moses left the palace behind. His heart, shaped in battle and leadership, now turned again to a new path. Fearing to return to Egypt because of Pharaoh's wrath, he made his way toward the land of Midian. In Midian, by a well of water, he encountered the daughters of Reuel, the Midianite, who took him to see their father. Reuel welcomed Moses to his house, but after hearing the tale of his journey, he imprisoned him in a dungeon for 10 years. From the height of the throne in Kush to a prison cell in Midian, Moses had walked a remarkable arc, the gifts of Kush piled high, the laurels of victory wrapped about his brow, yet now he sat bound and unknown in a land of shepherds. But that was not the end of his story. His God had big plans in store for him. Imagine a prince of Egypt driven into exile, a kingdom of the far south with its sun-reddened sands and mighty river, a throne built not by birth but by service, 40 years of justice and war, a queen's challenge, a respectful departure, and then a prisoner in foreign soil. The man who sat on the royal throne of Kush would become the deliverer of Israel, not by army, not by crown, but by voice and staff.